What's up, hippo lovers? WTF happened in February 2020. We had, as you can see on the agenda, a lot of stuff happening, and we will try to get you up to date. So we started off early February with the show match Secret against AM 3v3, and yeah, obviously a big rivalry between the two teams, and I think it was $250 on the line. 5 games played, I believe. $50 for every W. And well, obviously with all the eyes on the show match, people did try hard, and we had some situations where the Viper stole some resources, and then I believe in game number 5 it was, if I remember correctly, MbL played against DauT on the flank, and I think he stole a lot. I don't even remember how much he stole. It felt like both boars and 2 sheep, or 1 boar and 4 sheep or something, and DauT was just so heavily behind that he wasn't really happy. And well, he did go for quite a rant post on AoE zone, how show matches should be approached, and yeah, he did something that we haven't seen a lot from him on AoE zone. Then MbL went for the defense as well, and here you lame first, then we lame back, and yeah, you can all read it up on AoE zone. The question is, how should you approach this? My opinion, show matches should be no laming at all. But if you don't communicate with the opposing team, everything should be allowed. And therefore, I think kind of MbL is in the right. But I think for the future show matches, people should just talk to each other and yeah, make it the most enjoyable thing that is possible, right? Because that's what we have show matches for. And therefore, I think we kind of under-delivered in the 5th game. But actually, DauT then had a really good game against MbL. But, well, it all cooled down. It was like two days of 5 posts, 5 pages on AoE zone. And then it was all done. But we had a lot of quote-unquote real tournaments. We had Fair Civs Cup, a tournament where you choose... well, we start with mirror civilizations, then the loser decides on 2 civilizations and a map, and the opposing player can choose which of the 2 civilizations he can go for. And in the end, it was the Viper winning in the series against Hera, who performed well, but in the end couldn't get the W. Had a tough task actually, beating Tedo before, beating MbL before. Viper beat Leary and had an incredible series against DauT there in the quarterfinals, who played really well. But yeah, the Viper winning, and that series in the books was squeezed in between NAC and the Hidden Cup qualifiers. And then we are jumping over to Bonjour, a 3,100 euro tournament with 8 players invited. Now we are 2 weeks done. The 2 group winners will make it into the finals, and we still have interesting scenarios. Next week we will have the Viper play against DauT. If DauT wins 2-1, he will actually go through. And on the other group we have Hera facing Nili, so if he wins 3-0, he is through as well. So Tedo and Nikov trying to see who could go through there. Hera winning both of his matches 2-1 against Tedo and Nikov, so he's in the prime position to go through there. Obviously, everyone fighting for their placements. 3rd place is 100 euro. 2nd place is 400 euros. 1st place is 700 euros, and then you get an additional 700 euros if you win the whole finals there in the end as well. So that's going to be interesting next week. Nikov against Tedo, kind of fighting for 2nd place because it's likely that Terra will win me 3-0. But obviously, they're trying to get the 3-0 just in case I win a map as well. And yeah, Viper against DauT. 3 games played. Could be a very interesting series. DauT needs to deliver there. Elise and Lan will face off to find out who gets most likely most likely third place. Obviously, there's scenarios. Billy's wins 3-0, Viper wins 3-0. Then Billy's takes second place over DauT. And during all of that, we had kind of on the smaller side tournament, actually. It was called E-Paradise. And it was, I believe, like just shy of $300. It was the Viper, Nikov, Hera, and Tedo, if I remember that correctly. Should probably know that. Well, long story short, Hera beat Viper in the group stage, but Viper won his other two opponents, and then they faced in the finals, best of 5, and Hera won again with a 3-1 victory for him. So that was kind of the first tournament where it was a reasonable prize pool, and Viper lost in quite some time. If we remember Legacy of the Hunts too, that might have been one. And yeah, so Hera beating him there in the finals. Obviously, not a lot of eyes on the tournament. Streaming policy was, I believe, you're not allowed to stream in English. So, but still, something we have to mention for sure. But obviously, the main story of Hidden Cup after Fairships Cup finished was the Hidden Cup qualifiers. Be aware, those are the spoilers. This video is created exactly the day it's uploaded, so the 1st of March. And yeah, so spoilers ahead. Should have said that before we are jumping in here. And yeah, so Lan, Vilis, Baek-T, and Dogao going into the main event. We still have DauT fighting against Tim, ACM against M&M, Fire against Balz, and Nikov against Stark. Those are all happening Sunday, 1st of March, Monday, 2nd of March. And then we will have the big main event at 19th till 22nd. If you have some favorite players that, where are they? Where's the MbL, the Vipers? And they're already directly invited into the tournament. 8 players invited and 8 players joining them. And then we will have a tournament with all hidden identities, and only after the tournament concludes we will find out who they actually were. Viewer numbers are looking pretty damn sexy. 1490 at the moment. Round of 32 had 8k. Yesterday, round of 16, he was looking at 7k as well. So yeah, obviously his big goal is to break 30, maybe even scratch the 40k for the main event. Let's see if that's going to happen. And yeah, something else happened very big for the Age of Empires community. We had a new patch. While my green screen is bugging out. Behave! Ah! Well, something like that. And yeah, lots of stuff happening there. Maybe we zoom in a bit at the top here at the picture to figure out what's happening. So, one major thing here. New auto scouting. What is that? So, you now have a scout at the start, and here's a small feature. Auto scouting. So that actually means you don't need to look at your scout at all anymore. And he just randomly explores the whole map. Just like the AI does. No difference at all in the competitive scene. I actually used it in a tournament game I played yesterday, where my starting scout had 3 HP, and I was just fighting 20 archers against 20 archers the whole time. I clicked him on auto scout and he explored the whole map for me. So thanks for that, Scouty Scout. But it's very, very underused in competitive gameplay because it's simply worse than in yeah, what a good player can scout. I actually very much dislike auto scouting. The idea behind it was to get players that are playing on a very low level to enjoy the game a bit more, because now they don't need to multitask that much, right? They can focus on their TC, gathering resources, and the scout just explores this for them. Obviously, I'm biased in this one, but I remember when I played my very first Age of Empires games, right? And when I was really bad. And I loved this, like, let's try to find out where are my boars. Where are the wood lines? Where's the gold? Where is my opponent? And trying to find him. And, like, that's so much of the joy of the finding out what's actually Age of Empires and what's... That is one of the beauties that we have random generated maps, right? And yeah, so not a big fan. As I said, won't be at all important for every competitive game, but the question is, where does it stop? Do we then start to auto-queue villagers? Do we start to build mining camps next to golds? If you want to have like, yeah, the player should play less, or like should be bothered less with small things. It's tricky to draw the line there. At the moment, not a big fan. Okay, then we had a major change that we got into a new map pool here at the site. We got rid of, I believe, Gold Rush and something else. Islands. Team Islands, indeed. And we got Mediterranean, we got Hideout, and we got Alpine Lakes. Alpine Lakes, a horrible map if you want to play it competitively. Not a lot of options there. We will see about that. Like, I'm absolutely not excited. I like the general idea that we have map changes, but yeah, I'm not sure how they came up with that one, honestly. That's not pretty to me at all. And yeah, like that we have now Golden Pit instead of Gold Rush. And now we can talk a bit about the civilizations here. So, we have Janitors for Berbers receiving 1 Pierce Armor. At the moment, they weren't played, so they needed something better than the Skirmishers, and I think that makes them really good. Still not a great unit, very little damage output for sure. Then we have, how do we want to approach this? I think I want to cut it at the bottom, and yeah. Now this is probably something I like. Yeah. So now next civilization is Goth. Now they get infantry 35% cheaper, starting from Dark Age. Before that, it was only starting from Feudal Age. And Goth is already a one-trick pony with infantry, and now they're getting even pushed more into that direction. Okay, keeps it an identity of the civilization. I don't mind this too much. I think this will be problematic. Like, Dark Age Rush is now basically a very strong strategy for them. They will have very strong men-at-arms to begin with. Then they can transition to Huscult later on. I expect that we will have problems with that. Let's see. Let's see. Honestly, like, I think it's tricky to come up with a better idea. I always wanted to have them having the eco upgrades not costing wood, and therefore increasing their eco, keeping them into the farm direction. But yeah, let's see. It feels like a minor change, right? It's only like making 3 militia cheaper, but then again, there are the Noboros, there are the other creative players that want to go for 10 militia in Dark Age. Yesterday Viper played a game where he played like 30 militia in Dark Age, and yeah, it didn't look fun to play against. But we will see. Might just end in a lot of walling, which is good, right? Because then God get map control. Well, we will see how this one plays out. Then we have the Khmer. Random thingy. Biggest change is probably for the Mongols gameplay here. Their hunter bonus was reduced from 50% to 40%. Not the biggest thing, but something reasonable. I think you could have gone for 30 there as well, because they're obviously so broken on every like mass hunt map, such as Ravines /Ravines, or something like Valley, something like a lot of mega random generations. We had some Step was completely broken due to them. And now they get Step Lancers, a unit that, to my experience, doesn't make any sense how they're approaching it now. Because now they get 30% more on them. So either, if we consider like Step Lancers, scenario A, Step Lancers for Tatars and Cumans are reasonable, then plus 30% is completely broken. Or Mongols with Step Lancers are reasonable with 30% plus, then they're still trash for Cumans and Tatars. It's very unlikely. Like, we could get into the one scenario where Mongols are slightly too strong and Cumans and Tatars are slightly too weak. It feels a bit weird to me. Obviously, Mongols are lacking the last defense upgrade, so only +2 on them. I'm curious to see how this one will play out. Especially because Mongols, I like that they were weak at some points, right? They had a very strong early game, then in the end they were super strong. Now they get something to transition through there. Not my favorite idea. And next one up is Persian. Commander Run, such a strong upgrade, now a bit more expansive, makes a lot more sense. I think you could have gone even 500 there instead of 400, 300, but that's just me. Victoria of Portuguese are getting way stronger, makes a lot of sense to me. And yeah, it was just like way stronger, reasonably stronger. I think it was very heavily underused on Pop 200. On Pop 300, 400, 500, it was still really good. But yeah, maybe we'll see a bit more of those. Tatars now get Halberdiers. Congratulations to nothing. Still completely a bad civilization. I think they need something else. But hey, okay. Then we have Teutons, trying to get them into the mix a bit more. Farms are now even cheaper. They were 33% cheaper, now they're 40% cheaper. And barrack units gain +1 armor. I don't know too much. Most of the time that means an opposing unit needs one more hit. And we will see how that one plays out. Longswords are now better. Halberdiers should be a bit better. And yeah, could be something. I think Teutons didn't really lack something in Imperial Age. Except like mobility. But that makes sense to me as well. Now they become really strong, I believe, with this. In him. Like Halberdier, Champion SO combo. And if you don't face a Mesoziv, you don't even need the champions. Seems really strong. Seems really strong. And then, Vietnamese upgrade. Economy upgrades do not cost any wood. That saves you, obviously, the lumber camp upgrade, the mill upgrade, mining camp upgrades, and wheelbarrow handcart later on. So you can save quite a bit, and that gives them a nice boost. I had an idea of another funny twist, such as if you build an archery range, you get a free skirmisher. Or if you build a barracks in Feudal Age Plus, you get a free spearman or something. But that's maybe a bit too gimmicky. Let's see how they will be played out. Obviously, they now get a bit stronger. In an age where they struggled, the question is, will they be playable in the long run? We have elephants, we have Imperial skirmishers. I think we need to see a change on the Rattan Archer. It's just too similar for my taste to the skirmisher, but yeah, I think those are good changes. Still not the biggest fan of the auto scouting though. Let's take a look ahead. What's going to happen in March? I think it's a very short and easy answer. Hidden Cup 3, 19th to 22nd of March. Be there, or you're missing potentially a record-breaking viewer count, and yeah, nothing much to say. T9 will cast it, Memp will cast it. I would be surprised if Onlu, Lidako are not all jumping onto it. Like, there were like 8-9 different people casting the qualifier, so that's going to be pretty interesting. I think not much else is happening. Some small show matches, stuff, but nothing too major. So yeah, enjoyed that, and we will see each other in 1 month. That was it. Goodbye, Hippo lovers.